and welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener.
Yes.
And we've got Lisa Lain in the studio. She comes each week with your garden questions. Just what's going on with your neighbors? What are they talking about? What do you see from them? And there's something to be learned about the neighborhoods. When aphids hit, they hit the entire neighborhood. When the magnolias are blooming, they're blooming throughout the neighborhood. And so we're trying something new out. We've got we're trying video and audio at the same time. I don't know, so you can see who's actually talking.
Yes.
Kind of clunky and awkward, but it's capturing the audio really well.
Let's hope. I'm not sure I feel about people actually seeing us when we do this. I'm not sure, because usually we're making faces at each other. Yeah. And so
well,
it could be interesting.
We're just back from El Paso. Texas was slammed with weather this week. So we were last President's Day weekend. We thought, let's go visit the grandkids in El Paso. So 8 inches of snow throughout El Paso, which they never see. It's going to be a really good year for garden center owners, because all the palm trees are dead. All that borderline stuff, it died.
Yeah.
Austin, Texas, we got kids in Austin, and they were without power for like almost close to 2 days. They got the power back on, and then no water. I'm sure all the pipes broke within the main municipalities. So.
They're just not set up for that. They're not ready for it. They didn't predict it. So I feel bad for them. With the grandkids, we actually had fun. We went out and played in the snow. It was very fortuitous the day before. So they found out they're moving to Germany. So we went out and we bought jackets and gloves and all this stuff. And the next day it snowed. So it was perfect timing for them. Yeah. Not anybody else, but for them. And
we didn't go anywhere all weekend.
No.
Well, we did. Well, and then we went
to the park.
Went to the park, which have a huge green space in their neighborhood. And all the families were out there enjoying. First of all, El Pasoans. Is that how you say El Paso?
Sure.
People who live in El Pasoans. Yes. Well, this is broadcast from northern Arizona. They don't know. There's a lot of people that have served in the Army. That's Fort Bliss. Yeah. I'm sure that do know El Pasoan or not. Anyway, they didn't go out much, so they were hunkered down. We were out there going, Colts, okay for mountain folks, is pretty good.
It's so funny taking the kids. We're getting dressed. Any mother knows what a process it is to get these kids dressed to go outside. And so I'm telling you, long pants. First of all, long pants.
How about just socks?
Then we're going socks. Of course, they had the little ankle socks on them. I'm like, guys, you want socks that go up to your knees? And they're looking at me like, what?
Yeah.
But it's fun. We had a good time.
It was fun.
It was.
Took the dogs out, all kinds of stuff. So, well, this is about garden questions. What are people talking about? Anything good going on? I mean, anything?
Well, there's always good stuff going on. So our first question is from Jack out in Chino. This year, he says he wants great apples. He's tired of the wormy apples. So he wants to know how to get rid of the worms. And his other question is what time do you thin the fruit? How long do you wait before you thin?
Questions. Yeah, those are great questions. So apples and pears, this advice goes for both of those. They can get codling moth. Codling moth is a little tiny, it's a worm that gets in the fruit and it eats the fruit. And it's a little tiny moth, maybe a 1/4 inch, 1/3 of an inch. It's very small. And they attack a tree, or they lay eggs on a tree by the thousands. And so she'll initially lay her eggs when it's in bloom. As the fruit is being pollinated, as the bees are pollinating, she's laying her egg inside that fruit, and then the fruit actually seals over that fruit. And that's where you see an apple or a pear with one exit tunnel. She laid her egg, it matured, and then burrowed its way out or ate its way out, and then flew around and laid more eggs. Sometimes it gets so bad because we've got such a long growing season that she'll lay the egg on the outside of the pear or the apple. It'll burrow in, nurture itself on the inside, and then burrow back out. That's when you see multiple exit and entrance tunnels. They're all caused by the same thing, codling moth. Now, what do? Well, what you do is you need to kill the codling moth. Don't let them get in there. And it's real easy. We have a spray that takes them out called BT,
Mm-hmm.
Thuriocensis. How do you say that again?
Bacillus thuriside.
You're so good at those big words.
Thank
That's
you.
what I love about you. One of the many things. So anyway, it's not the reason I fell in love with you, but I love you more because of it.
Help poor Jack out here. He wants to get rid of his worms.
Anyway, if you can, she lays her eggs when the petals are just starting to drop. When the tree's been in bloom for a while, the petals are dropping. It almost looks like it's snowing. If you can spray it right then, you'll get rid of that first generation where you only got one exit tunnel coming out of a fruit. Now, the problem is we're so mild here in the mountains of Arizona that you'll have two more attaching or egg layings or whatever you call that from Cuddling moth. And so you need to know when to spray again. When are they active? Because if you spray too soon or too late, not effective. So now we have what's called a Cuddling moth trap. We sell them here at the garden center. And you want to hang a trap in the tree. One per tree kind of thing, come in a set of 3 or whatever. Lay it out there and hang it in the tree. You'll go out and monitor it weekly, daily, something like that. You go, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. No moths are inside this. It's got a pheromone that attracts them. So when they start to go after this tree, you'll see them show up. You'll go out one day, 3 weeks later and go, oh, there's a moth in there. Where'd that come from? I didn't see that before. The next night you'll go, oh, there's like 3 or 4 more. And then like day 5 into this, there's like, it's filled. You're going, oh, they are actively laying eggs on my fruit. It's time to spray. Spray it with the same thing, totally organic, takes out the cuddling moth. If you're diligent about that, if you can catch it while they're actively laying eggs, you will obliterate all the larvae, the worms, and you'll have clean, beautiful fruit. Now, going back to when do I thin the fruit? So apples, most you'll need to thin off probably about half, at least a third to half the fruit. Otherwise, you'll end up with lots of little tiny fruits and all seed, no fruit. You need to take some of that fruit off so that all the energy coming up from the roots goes up through the trunk and then into the remaining fruits. So when to do that? Usually apples come in clusters of 4 or 5 apples. You probably want no more than 2 per cluster. Wait till they're large enough to spot and then pick off the 2, 3 weakest ones. Leave the strongest ones. That's the secret. So when they're big enough to identify, they're apples, maybe they're size of a dime, no more than a quarter. It's time. Just pick them off. You should be like Edward Scissorhand. Just pick them all off and throw them out there. And now all remaining fruit will go into those remaining apples or pears. They're both the same way. I'd say the same thing. Plums, apricots, peaches, you need to thin those as well.
Sure.
There you go, Jack.
Gives you better fruit.
You're now an expert on how to deal with cuddling moth and have larger fruits.
There you go. And if you have questions, just let us know.
Yeah,
we can clarify.
We deal with this all the time. So
Yeah.
This is what we do at the Garden Center. Come visit us. Google, if you research that, you will be so dumbfounded by it. You won't know what to do.
Too much information.
Come talk to a local. We'll help you out with that.
Right. Okay. We have time for more questions.
I think we do. Go for it.
All right. Well, this is from Emma in Prescott. She's redoing her backyard to put more edibles in.
Yep.
And so she wants to know, how much space do you leave for raspberries and blackberries and blueberries, that type of thing? And then her other question is, what kind of sun exposure do they need? Full sun, morning sun? What's the best way to position them?
All fruits, brambles, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, boysenberries, they all need 6 hours or more of sun. Otherwise, you just aren't going to get that much fruit. So it needs more sun, the better. Full sun, it's even better. So that's how much sun. Spacing, like we've got lots of grapes, blackberries, raspberries in our backyard, and about 8 foot. If you put them in a little bit tighter, let's say 4 to 6 feet, you'll have this solid row of just fruits. Be great. We're using them to soften up the fence line so it doesn't look so prison-esque.
Fence-like.
Yeah, fence-like, more garden-esque, secret garden.
Right.
And so we place them at 8. Every panel's got something planted down the row of the fence. And that seems to work out really well. I'd say it's a little bit, if you want a lot of fruit, space them in kind of go a little bit tighter, maybe 4 to 6 feet, and you'll have better advice, better fruit, better plants. All right, that's it for this segment of the show. Ken and Lisa Lain will be right back after this.